Okay, when it comes to personalizing a student's iPad, especially when it comes to students who have either some learning difficulties, some physical difficulties, the accessibility section in settings is really, really important. So we're going to kind of go through this section of settings now and what they do. Um, but it's one of those things that's important for you to understand, or at least know where these options are, so that when you come across students who are having difficulties, that you know, well, even if you don't remember all of these features, you at least know where to look to make it so your students can better personalize their iPad. For the sake of this class, you're going to use these things to make your iPad better for you. But having having that understanding to say, oh, Johnny needs this. I bet the iPad can do it. It's probably in the accessibility section inside of settings. So let's go there now. Let's choose settings, and on the left-hand side, a little ways down, you'll see accessibility. There is a ton here. And we're not going to go through everything, and we're going to kind of jump around because I want you to turn some things on so that you're ready for the next assignment in this Google Classroom. But you'll notice that as far as accessibility goes, we go from voice to vision to touch to hearing. There's so much built into each one of these sections that we couldn't go through all of them in a 5-minute video. So let's do a couple of things first. Here in spoken content, please go there. And once you tap on spoken content, we need to turn on speak selection, speak screen, and highlight content. Please do that. Then click on voices. So what we've just turned on is we're going to make it so if we highlight something, the iPad will read it to us. We'll be able to swipe down from the top of the iPad with 2 fingers, and the iPad will read the entire screen to us. We will also ask the iPad, by turning this on, to highlight the content that it's reading while it's reading it. So for students with reading difficulties, that they'll be able to follow along word for word as the iPad reads it to them. Not only that, but if you tap on that, we want it to highlight the content and then choose words and sentences, background color. So what'll happen is it'll highlight the words and sentences, and it will also highlight the background of it. So it's literally going to give the sentence a blue background and each word a yellow background. So the whole sentence will be blue, and then each word will be yellow as the iPad reads it. So if you could go ahead and set that up now. Please feel free to choose whatever colors might work for you. If you need to pause now, that's fine, but I'm going to go back to spoken content. And then we want to go to voices. Under voices, they have a bunch of them. Obviously, for the most part, we're going to want English. And we can listen to and download all of these, but if you haven't downloaded Alex yet, click on Alex. And you'll notice that Alex's voice is a huge download. And the reason for that is Alex is the most natural reader that Apple offers. And the neat thing about Alex is that as Alex reads, it will take breaths and pauses at sentences. It still sounds electronic. Alex still sounds electronic. But the thing I really like about Alex is that voice is on the device. What I mean by that is so many text-to-speech readers have to use the internet to be able to read the content on your device. Alex does not. Instead, this software is on the iPad, so regardless of whether the student is online or not online, he can still access the text-to-speech features. Okay, that was an important one to turn on, so let's go all the way back to accessibility. Let me just briefly go through this, and then I'm going to, and then I want you to play and set up your iPad so it's for what's best for you. Um, VoiceOver is for the severely visually impaired. If you're not, what it does is it allows you, anywhere you tap on the screen, a voice will come up and tell you what you just tapped and where you are on the screen. This one can be tough to learn and has a little bit of a learning curve, so I'm just going to skip that one for now. But let's take a look at Zoom. When you turn on Zoom, it gives you this great little window. So our kids with visual impairments can drag this window, or they can change the Zoom window. So if we want something different, instead of the window, if we want the pinch to zoom or the full screen zoom, you can turn that on as well. Actually, let's turn that off. The magnifier. The magnifier is, once you turn that on, it looks like an app. What that allows you to do is magnify your surroundings. So again, for the visually impaired, I want to zoom in on my table, zoom in on my surroundings to be able to see things better or read things better. We can do that. Also built into that is the flashlight, changing the color and the contrast and the brightness. So the zoom also accesses the camera. I can snap a shot of that and then be able to zoom in, say that's a reading, work from there. Okay. Back into settings. Magnifier is great. So when you want to, we just kind of did that. So the magnifier lets you use the camera to Yep. So we just did that. Sorry. This is a big one. So if you want to change how the text looks and the display looks, this is where you go. So if you need everything to be bold, all the text on your iPad goes bold. So check that out again. If you want larger text, you can take the text and raise it way up to better access it. What I really like about that, is our ability to just go in different parts or just turn that thing off. So now my text size is definitely bigger. Button shapes. If you notice the accessibility sign in the upper left-hand side, like now we can, just underline those. The labels, what they're talking about there, on-off labels. Instead of not having a circle, you have a circle so you know when it's off and on. So you don't have to worry about colors in this time, but now we can notice that all of those toggle switches now have the circle, or I can turn that off. Yep. You can reduce transparency. So if you're looking up here, that will change just ever so slightly. Increasing the contrast. Notice how that, so again, for visual impairments. Differentiate without color. So if we want to invert the colors, this is a pretty drastic change, but if that white light background bothers people, this might be better for some kids. Or here's the old classic invert that actually adds different yellow that kind of keeps color in there where the other one did not. We can change the filters, reduce the white point. I always leave on auto brightness, which the brighter it is, the darker the screen gets. The brighter your surroundings are, the darker the screen gets. Okay, we're going to skip motion. We just did spoken contents. And I think what I'd like you to do now, or I definitely know what I want you to do now, is to kind of go through here and just turn things off and on and see if you can get your iPad to be just right for you. So if that bright screen bothers you, what can you do about that? If the text is too small, what should you do about that? And go and personalize your iPad so it fits just you. Thanks.